Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus here again. My reason for coming before you today and at this moment is to share with you a new thought, something that I'm hoping that will aid in an awakening. God, when I say God, I'm talking about a spiritual power, a power that we can't see, but a power that has something to do with our existence and all that we know. Well, when we grow up in the world, we hear about this through teachings and the Bible and other materials that are used. And we accept that into our thinking. But one day, I don't know why, that power stepped beyond the printed page. It stepped beyond that conversation that came out of the mouths of the different preachers and the different denominations that are represented throughout this land. And it stepped out in the power of an unseen spirit that was able to do something that no man could control, nor I. And having done that, revealed to me why. And in those two acts, I saw God for myself. So I don't really need any man to tell me about God, because the God that revealed himself to me is a God of love. So I know that my relationship with the world in relationship to God is about love. And some people will say, well, how do you know love except what somebody can do for me or what you've done for me? And I won't argue that if that's how you interpret love, because the creator of you see it the same way. Made it common for certain things that all humankind need in order to exist. And prepared for it in the earth, on the earth, above the earth, seen and unseen, so that you, humankind, can experience heaven on earth as you utilize your mind, your brain that the Creator has given you to do the things that the Creator would do through you. That power. And yet, ladies and gentlemen, that power have me standing before you, telling you that you've been tricked. There are many of you that feel good about life. The problem is that there are more that do not feel that way about life. And so the whole mission that I have is to show you, through all of the education, through all of the training, through all of the brainwashing, through all of the mind control, that the God of your true creation wants you to experience the best that life has to offer. And you're not experiencing that because the system that you live under will not permit it to happen. And this system exists because you empower it to exist. In order for you to stop empowering this system, you're going to have to change your mind. You're going to have to renew your mind. I mean, you're going to have to truly renew your mind. You're going to have to trust God that you can't see, but confident that it will provide what is needed, because it can count on your hands. God can count on your mouth. God can count on your feet And God will be there. Open your mouth and God will speak. Reach out and God will touch. You see, the world is like it is because that is not being done. And you came into this world innocent, but the world was already contaminated. And so all of us have come up into this world contaminated. And God has chosen many of us. Now we're not special, but to whom much is given, much is required. We must put our lives on the line to tell you the truth because you believe anything. And everything that you've been believing in the past is working against you. The religion that you have today, it might have had a purpose in the beginning, which was to keep you docile as you are. Now it's maintaining you in that state. But the God of life says you got to step out of that. The Old Testament days, men had their ideas. The New Testament days, that was a problem. Somebody said the Jews wouldn't accept what was happening about Jesus. A problem. Why? Because there was a time for the Old Testament days, but there became a time for the New Testament. There's time for moving on up in an understanding and an awareness of God. Living with poverty might have been okay yesterday, but it's not okay today. Why? Because God has said it has got to go. And it can only go if you exercise the power of God in your life. Now, I have asked you, and I'm going to ask you this time too. This is a presidential season. When you go to the polls to vote, write in Jesus Christ. Some states don't accept write-in, but where they do, write in God, G-O-D, as the President of the United States. What I'm asking people who have, and many of you claim to have, but we will see, come out from under the Republican organizations. The Republicans do not represent God. They represent a Republican perspective. Come out from under the Democratic ideology. They do not represent God. They got a Democratic perspective. And any of these other parties, they got the same thing. And neither of them have any concerns about addressing government of the lives of people in such a way that all people can be thrilled with life. Not a single one of them. And if your God can put up with that stuff, that's why God has chosen me to tell you that there's a better way. And that is a way of a God that loves all creation and made all creation to live as though they were always aware of God. And he gave them choice to choose it, to not force them, but to choose it. And you get a chance to experience all this hell that we have to go through, hoping that it will educate you, that at one day you will hope enough for a God like the one I shared with you about today, that you'll reach out for him. He'll be there. But look at all what you have to go through when it's being offered to you today. Because what is being offered to you today, what is required for you to accept it, will be required then. But look at the price you had to pay. So when you go to those polls, you vote. Put God on the ballot. There might be a Republican, according to the way this system is set up. There might be a Democrat who goes into office. But I want them to know that there is a God that's watching over all of us, including them. And that God, by virtue of what we have established by putting God in the campaign, is watching. And so in order for them to be able to operate, they'll have to make sure that God is satisfied, that they're taking care of the people's business, not that of some foreign organizations and stuff that's thrown together by people over the world who plan on destroying this world. I want you to separate yourselves from all of that and let it be known. Let it be known that you believe in a higher power. And let that higher power be the highest power you can imagine. That's a power of love for everybody. Well, ain't nobody got no business turning around looking at anybody else with any form of condemnation, because God is love, and we all know it. Because we all making sure that we all show it. Until next time, bye-bye.